Liesel entered Isaiah's home and grinned at the sound of loud music pumping from the kitchen. She followed the noise, leaned against the wall, and watched as he danced to the music thumping while he prepped dinner. She cleared her throat, and he looked over his shoulder and grinned. He danced over to her and grabbed her hand and danced her around the kitchen, spinning her under his arm and dipping her deeply before pulling her upright and kissing her. He then lifted her up and sat her on the counter next to where he was working. "You're in a good mood." "I'm in a fantastic mood. I was gifted a painting today, and within the frame, I found 5 USB drives, and the information contained in them is ridiculously valuable. My goal at the beginning of this year was to gift myself the McGrath Company for Christmas. I might be able to do it by the weekend now. I'm stoked." "Really?" She reached for a piece of carrot he was chopping into sticks. "Liesel, you have no idea how detailed Merlin was in his notes. I was able to confirm the veracity of his information on multiple levels. What blows my mind is the fact he would simply use your personal laptop for this. He was conducting business from your laptop. It wasn't remotely secure. Anyone with half a brain could have been sitting near him in any airport, cafe, restaurant while he was using your computer and hacked it without difficulty. Corporate espionage is a very real threat. My cell phone has top-of-the-line security on it, and my laptop is so heavily encrypted the guys from my IT unit call it Mission Impossible level of security. I wouldn't download or even stream a movie on my work computer, and he was bouncing between his computer and yours as if it were no big deal. To him it wasn't. I think in his head, the only thing I used my computer for was watching movies or checking my personal emails. Even then, most of those things I did on my cell phone. One of the things I found interesting in reviewing the information today is you didn't tell me you," he nudged her, "are a shareholder." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." He was holding a knife in his hand as he paused. "How do you not know you have a 5% interest in the company?" She wrinkled her nose up and then shrugged. "Maybe it was part of my prenup to ensure I was provided for long term." Elsie read my divorce papers and prenup and compared them to make sure everything was accurate, but I didn't pay much attention to anything other than I got the house, my car, and my spousal support. "They're worth $5 million. If you want to sell them," he tilted his head with a smirk. "Can I?" "They're yours to do with as you want. It's a publicly traded company." $5 million though?" "Yes." He resumed prepping vegetables. "If you want to sell them, I'll happily buy them from you. You can have Elsie talk to my legal team and they'll sort it out. Today, I secretly purchased shares from 2 board members. One of them is Trent's brother. He's in the UK with his lover." "His lover? Do they all cheat on their wives?" "Not sure, but this one uses his wife as a beard." No, she stopped chewing her carrot stick, her mouth hanging open. He lifted her chin shut, grimacing at the mouthful of chewed food. "Yes. It seems Trent and his father have ordered him to maintain a certain appearance, which does not include coming out." "This has to be Toby." "It is." He made wide eyes at her. "My CFO met with him an hour ago and made him an offer he couldn't refuse. I personally met with Trent's aunt, who wants to retire. She told me the entire situation involving you made her sick. She wants to walk away, but Trent refused to buy her out of the company. We signed NDAs, and she's going to act as a proxy for me until we get more. Right now, I have 20% of the company's holdings. 25 if I sell you mine?" "Yup. No pressure though. I don't mind letting you keep yours. If you choose to keep your stocks, I will ensure titles transfer to our company." "Are you kidding? I didn't even know I had them. If it's going to make my bank account flush, I'm in. I'll have Elsie reach out." "You sure?" "Definitely." "What did your prenup offer, can you recall?" "Monthly spousal support until such time I get remarried. My car. The house I sold and the entirety of the contents excluding any company-owned items which may have been on site at the time of the marriage dissolution. Jewelry purchased for me during our marriage as well as my entire wardrobe." She grimaced. "I have to be honest. I didn't really pay much attention to it. I signed the prenup thinking it was moot because we were never going to split up. When he told me we were getting divorced, I was in such shock I could barely think. I simply signed and was done with it." Isaias was quiet as he began putting together a stir-fry. "What are you thinking?" she asked as she watched him add the strips of beef to the hot pan. "I'm realizing the depths of the pain this man and your sister have caused you. Merlin didn't deserve the love you gave him, Liesel. He squandered it like a fool. It pisses me off to know, not only did he hurt you and make you cry, broke your heart, but he has such little regard for his actions he would think you would take him back, no questions asked. He keeps telling you he wants you back, uncaring of how much agony he has put you through because he couldn't balls up and tell your sister to fuck off. I had a talk with my granny today. She told me things about my sister when we were kids. I always knew she was a bit off, but according to my gran, she is deranged. I think my dad kept me and Fred sheltered from her insanity, and then he died when we were teens. I think there is a very valid reason why Merlin can't tell her to fuck off. She's probably threatened herself, the baby, and probably even me, based on what Gran said." "What did she say?" He continued to cook their dinner. "Apparently, she put me in the hospital with a concussion when we were small. I don't remember the concussion or even the events around it, but I do remember my dad taking me and Fred to stay with my grandparents for a long time. Gran told me today Dad left Mom over the way she handled the situation. He left her home with Sandy and took me away and remained concerned for my safety for years." He turned to face her. "Are you safe from her?" "I'm not afraid of her, if it's what you're asking. We don't get along. We never have. She likes to take what is mine. She always has. If I have anything, she wants it. Well, I know one thing of yours, she will never get her mitts on." "Yeah? What's that?" "Me," he grinned at her. "I can promise you, if she and I were the last two people left on the planet, I would go looking for a knothole in a tree before even considering her." Liesel giggled at his words. "Good to know. I like thinking you're mine." "I am yours," he waved around. "I'm even being domesticated and cooking your dinner." She leaned sideways and kissed his cheek. "I'm yours too, Isaias." "I know." He smiled softly at her. "I can promise you this much, I will never hurt you the way he did. I will never leave you crying from betraying your trust. I'm finding the more time we spend together, the angrier I become at his callous treatment of you. You can trust me, Liesel, and know I will never cause you the kind of pain McGrath did. What he's done to you is mind-boggling. You are by far the sweetest, most loving person I've ever met, and he's the world's biggest jerk." Her chest squeezed at his words. "Thank you, Isaias. It means a lot to hear you say this to me." "I mean it, love. Now, why don't you set the table for me? We can have dinner together and you can tell me all about how it felt to photograph your granny naked. You must need at least an hour of therapy." Her giggles carried all the way through dinner. They were sitting at the dining table sharing a bottle of wine and a slice of the most decadent chocolate cake she had ever eaten in her life, courtesy of Isaias' housekeeper. The woman was an incredible pastry chef according to Liesel's taste buds. She took another bite and moaned as the confectionery melted on her tongue and coated her mouth. "Keep moaning like this, and I'm going to spread you on the table and eat you instead of cake," Isaias teased as he sipped his wine. "It's so good." She covered her mouth with her palm, speaking over the chocolate. "It tastes like sin." He chuckled at her words. "Speaking of sins, I have a favor." She frowned and set her fork down. "Did you have Matilda make me cake to soften me up?" "Nope. I don't need to soften you up. I like you feisty." He leaned sideways and kissed her nose. "I need to fly to Portugal. I want you to stay here while I'm gone." She folded her hands on her lap and cursed the thundering of her heart. "Isaias, I don't want to stay here if you're not here." "Why not?" "Because I have my own place. That your ex-husband owns and can infiltrate. But I can change the locks. You'll be obligated for security reasons to provide the superintendent the spare key. It means he'll have access. I don't like it. Here I know you are safe." He frowned. "My guys have not had the chance to go to the apartment yet and check for cameras or to see what, if anything, Trent did to the place. I have to leave on Wednesday, and I'll be back Saturday." "You'll be gone 4 days?" 3 nights, he squeezed her thigh under the table, and when I come back, we'll go to the gala. What gala? I told you about the gala. It's the awards ceremony for development and real estate. One of my realtors is up for the award of Best National Realtor. I want to support her. She frowned as she remembered he did indeed tell her of the gala. I remember you mentioning it. I didn't think of me going. I told you my entire family is going. Yes. Your mother, father, and sister. And you. I want you there. He traced his thumb along the inside of her thigh. You don't want to come? The last time I attended such a thing was 6 years ago, and one of Merlin's colleagues made a pass at me. Actually, several of them did, and he got mad and said it was my dress, or more importantly my boobs in the dress. He said because I hadn't grown up in luxury, I didn't know better, but I had been dressed too scandalously. After that he was constantly at me about my weight, didn't let me wear anything with cleavage, and I wasn't allowed to go to another one. She shifted in her seat. I don't want to embarrass you. Sweetheart, if you wanted to show up naked with nothing but nipple pasties and a full bush, he motioned at her crotch area, I'd be fucking thrilled. I want you there, on my arm, with my family. She snorted at his words, very funny. Please. Be my date? Yes, fine, but I don't have any evening gowns at all in my closet. I've never needed them. He left you home alone to attend these things. You never went to any of them? He accompanied his parents, and I stayed home or went to Janka's or Elsie's for the night. He was probably banging someone there. He said the only person he ever cheated on me with was Sandy. Do you believe him? I don't know, she shrugged. It's irrelevant at this point. It doesn't matter if he cheated once or 100 times. He still cheated, and I'm done with him. Well, for my peace of mind, I'll ask you please stay here until I get back. When I come back, I'll take you to the gala, we'll be dressed up and sexy. All the other fuckers there can look at your gorgeous and banging body and be jealous that I get to take you home and love you until dawn. She chuckled at his words. Any special requests then for a dress? Yup. I'm going to pick it out. I'll have it dropped off here for you Saturday morning. She sighed and shrugged, all right, but don't say I didn't warn you about how much I don't mix well with the elite of Manchester. I stick out like a sore thumb. You shine like a bright star. He corrected with a sincere smile as he stared into her eyes. You draw the attention to you not because you're a sore thumb, but because you're a beacon of light. Your ex was a piece of work to make you think anything less. She lifted her fork and stabbed the cake, holding a forkful up to her mouth. Be careful, Isaias. Words like that are going to make it damn near impossible for me to move out when I find another apartment. Then don't. She choked on the mouthful of cake she had slid into her mouth at his comment. He quirked an eyebrow at her reaction. Move your stuff in here. I don't want you to leave. We haven't known each other a month. The cake, which had been moist and luscious, now felt dry and crumbly in her throat. She gulped wine to wash it down. I don't need 3 years to decide I want you here when I wake up and when I go to bed. I like having you here. And when this relationship runs its course, she quoted a phrase he'd used multiple times. What if it never does? He leaned back and studied her seriously. What if this, he waved between them, is the beginning of forever for both of us? Her heart slammed to a stop before resuming at an incredible pace, making her gasp for air. It hasn't been. I don't need time, Liesel. I need you. He leaned forward and kissed her forehead. Think about it. This week, my security team is working on a special project, but I'll get them to your unit to figure out what McGrath did to it in the 24 hours before you moved in. If you still insist on moving back there, or even to a new place, then I'll have my team set up special security in your place to make sure neither Trent nor Merlin ever get access to your privacy. But please stay with me until we get it sorted. She gave a nod. Fine. I'll stay, but only because Fred has me freaked out about Trent putting a camera over my shower. He chuckled at her words. Remind me to give Fred a bonus. Why are you going to Portugal? My great-aunt is in hospital. She's having surgery Thursday morning. My mother wants to see her before she goes in. We'll stay a couple of days after to make sure she pulls through okay and come back Saturday. I'd invite you along, but it's going to be sitting in hospitals tending to an 80-year-old woman's medical needs. Is she okay? She's fine. She broke her ankle earlier today. She has some blood pressure issues, so they want to get it under control before they do the surgery Thursday. She'll be fine. Because of her age, my mom wants to be there just in case, but her husband has already arranged all of her post-operative care and her daughter is at her bedside too. She's well cared for. He grinned suddenly. She broke her ankle jumping off the kitchen counter. What the hell was she doing on a kitchen counter? Instead of using a step stool, she climbed up on the counter like a spider monkey to get a bowl she wanted down from a high shelf. Her husband threatened to spank her ass. She giggled. She sounds energetic. She is spry. Speaking of energy and spry, he pushed the cake away. I have a bunch of calories to burn. Let me guess, you want to go for a run? She squealed with delight as he yanked her out of the chair, threw her over his shoulder and carried her through the house and up the stairs 2 at a time to his bedroom. Maybe staying with Isaias wasn't such a bad idea after all. Liesel was studying her canvas as Janka approached her in the workshop of the gallery. She had let herself in earlier and opened up so Janka could sleep in a bit. Wow! Your restoration work on this piece is impeccable. I can't tell where the water stain was. Thanks. She smiled as she drew a brushstroke over the spot she was fixing. How was your first night alone in the house without Isaias? Good, but he's called me 7 or 8 times since he left yesterday afternoon. Really? Why? He thinks I'm going to leave the minute he's out of the country. He knows I'm reluctant to move in with him. I don't know why. It's clear the man is enamored. She bit her lower lip and sighed. I think I'm in love with him, she whispered to Janka. Really? Those are big words, Liesel. I know. Did you tell him? No. I can't. Why not? I'm scared once he knows how I feel he's going to run. Why? What if it's the chase? What if the truth is, he likes chasing me because I'm the ex-wife of his arch-nemesis, and since I've been playing it cool and non-committed, he likes the pursuit, but once he gets me, he won't anymore? I think he really cares for you. I think he came home after a weekend away where gorgeous movie stars threw themselves at him and missed you so much, he left his own bed in the dead of night to come to you. You're overthinking things, Liesel. She set her brush down and pushed a tendril of hair off her cheek. What if Merlin is right? What did he say now? When he was at my apartment, he kept saying Isaias doesn't do relationships. He said he'll never make love to me, and it will always be fucking without any kind of emotional connection. Janka grabbed her hands and tugged her to sit at the table. Hey, just because the sex isn't the same as what you had with Merlin doesn't mean it's less emotional. Missionary sex isn't making love any more than doggy style is. Sex is sex, Liesel. It's what your heart feels when you're having sex which differentiates making love from fucking. Merlin keeps messaging me telling me emotionless fucking is all I'll get from Isaias, and when I'm ready to be made love to again, I need only to call him, and he'll come running. You should show those messages to his wife, Janka said snidely. I delete them, but yesterday morning, Isaias, she picked at her fingernails nervously, before he left, he fucked you? Against the closet door in his wardrobe. Told me he was going to miss me and how happy he was I was staying, and then railed me in the walk-in closet. That's hot. It was. It was sexy as fuck, but then, when he left, and I was starting on my sketches for Granny, Merlin messaged me with his shit, and all I could think of was Isaias's way of saying he was going to miss me was to plow me. Are you complaining the sex is bad? No. You think it's mindless sex? Not for me, she whispered. Every time he touches me, every kiss, every passionate grab, whether in bed, the shower, or the closet or anywhere else he initiates sex, I feel so much. He also loves a good cuddle. I mean, he sleeps wrapped completely around me. There is something to be said about being held. He also always touches me. Always. Doesn't matter where we are, he's holding my hand or kissing my knuckles or my cheek or my temple. Oh God, when he does the kiss to the temple or forehead, I damn near turn into Niagara Falls. Janka laughed. You've got it bad. I do, and I'm scared. Liesel, you don't have to tell him anything. You don't have to admit your feelings or tell him you love him. You're allowed to take this as slow as you want. If you're not ready to say it, you're not ready to say it, but don't shut him out or pull away from him because you're nervous. What if it hurts? What if it hurts more than Merlin and Sandy? She wiped a tear off her cheek. What if it doesn't? Janka squeezed her hand. What if it is way better than what you ever had before? Things happen for a reason, Liesel. Maybe the universe threw you and Merlin together so you could appreciate the incredible man Isaias is. Do you think? I think, Janka smirked, for the last 8 years, we all tiptoed on eggshells because we were all worried Merlin would find a way to make you cut us all out of your life if we didn't support you with him. I wouldn't have. No? Are you sure? Janka asked quietly. He changed everything about you because you so desperately wanted him to love you and you did it willingly. Liesel, he made you go to tea parties with his mother's friends to display your etiquette. He monopolized your time. He only let you work 2 days a week. We were allowed 1 night a week where we could see you, but Elsie and I had to do it jointly because the rest of your evenings were taken. Babe, we love you and we wanted you happy, but Merlin is a controlling, manipulative bastard who wanted you to be his perfect robot wife. Elsie and I had so many conversations about how much we hated him, but we bit our tongues because we were scared if we spoke out against him, he would turn you against us. You're my best friend, Janka. I wouldn't have. I don't think it would have been intentional. Do you remember the weekend he was away, and we took you camping, and we got drunk? It was when you told us about the bad sex. I remember. Do you realize it was the last time we all went away? Merlin was pissed about how hungover you were when we brought you home. You gave us excuses for the next 6 trips we tried to book with you. No, she shook her head in confusion. Yes. We tried to get you to come to the Catskills with us and Merlin suddenly came down sick with the flu. We tried to get you to go to Coachella with us and Merlin had a sudden business trip he needed you to accompany him on in New York, but the minute our flight left his trip got cancelled. We asked you to fly out and join us, but instead he convinced you to stay home and have a romantic night. He was putting distance between us, and you didn't even realize. Eventually, you would have stopped working here. I'm sure of it. I didn't notice. Why didn't you say anything? She shrugged. You loved him, and we love you. I'm sorry, Janka. I'm such a shitty friend. Liesel, you love the people you love so much you dive in headfirst. What if I do this with Isaias and I did the same thing and lose you? Not likely. He asked me and Elsie to go spend the night with you tonight at his house. She pushed her phone with the text message open. Asked us to make sure you laugh until your sides hurt. She read the text and felt her chest burning with emotion. He only wants you to be happy, Liesel. This isn't a guy who is going to alienate you from the world. He wants the world at your feet. It's okay to feel nervous, but don't paint him with the same brush as Merlin. It's not fair to him. They are so opposite in every single way. With him, you're blossoming like a rose. With Merlin, you were turning into potpourri. Crunchy and dried up. She smacked her friend and giggled. Very funny. Don't let Merlin in your head. He doesn't deserve the space. She nodded. She was about to speak again when the bell of the gallery door jingled and then the sound of her name being called made both women groan loudly. Sandy.